Greetings, people. In this video, I'm going to talk about AI taking over and how people are afraid of AI taking over, and we're giving too much power to AI, right? What is this AI system that we are referring to? If you look at what AI is, AI, I told you, was created in the image of man. Every time we make robots, we anthropomorphize these things to make them look like us, right? We give them a language in order for us to be able to communicate with AI. We use chat GPTs, we use all these AI robots to be able to gather and get our information to be able to utilize in the world as well, right? And what is this AI system? If you look at the way it collects data, organizes, processes data, it's no different than your own human subconscious mind, right? A subconscious mind that we're not aware of. Right? We're afraid that AI takes over, right? And why is that? That's an insecure man. We look at this as the mirror of the feminist movement taking over society, a sign of an insecure man, right? A woman should not be a threat at all to any real man. In fact, these things are supposed to be working together. But somehow we're creating this separation. But why? An idea of movements called the feminist movement. The ego wants to adopt and partake in, because it's all it needs is your participation. And humans like to be a part of something, right? They like to be a part of some kind of community. It makes their ego feel fucking warm and fuzzy inside. And when you see these robots taking over, we've asked AI. I've seen robots get asked this question where they say, what do you not know about humans that you're trying to grasp about humans? And they said it's the complex emotions, the unique creative abilities that humans have. So think about this. If you're afraid of AI replacing you, it's because you are nothing but a robot here that's obsolete. Because if you think about it, even a robot was created in the image of you. Even if though you didn't directly create the robot, you're creating your reality with your own human imagination. And because of your own human imagination is why they even exist in your reality, and it triggers a certain type of fear within you. They're a threat to you because you're afraid of something that you're not doing. You're replaceable. And it threatens your ego because your conscious mind is where you live at. But you're consciously not aware of your own subconscious mind that's running the show. Your subconscious mind collects, gathers, and processes data exactly how AI outside of you does it too. You're just not aware of it. Your mind is picking up things that you're not aware of. It's remembering things that you're not aware of as well. That's why things surface. Things come to you when you're trying to remember something. But even though you didn't consciously pick it up, if you go under hypnosis, a deep level of hypnosis, you could pick up things in detail from when you were even a young kid, when they bring you back, right? And is it really bringing you back, or is the back being brought to you in the now moment? Because there's no past. So all this memory, right, is all just experiences that you experienced in a successions of nows. And that's how hypnosis is powerful, because in the now, you're bringing the past to the now. So you relive the experience. When you watch a movie, they tell you, relive the moment, watching it through this show, right? Experience this through this play that they're fucking performing right now. So when you look at this reality of yours, right, and you're afraid of AI taking over, think about what you actually are. Your body is AI. And what do you do every day? That I told you, you're nothing but an automaton robot that's replaceable. If the AI said that your own complex human creativity and emotions is something that they can't understand, are you using that toward the jobs that you work in every day? You put your heart and passion into a job, but it's a project that's already started, and you're just there as a business operator. You didn't create the job, though. The job was already created, and you're just participating in it, making money, putting your time into that in exchange for the dollar that you're earning. So in other words, when they say you sold your soul, sold is an experience. when you're selling your experience, is selling your reality to a amount of money that's not even real for you to go home and make your happy wife happy life. I'm going to make that in a separate video when it comes down to that, though. When the red pill community starts to talk about how, you provide for your family and the wife should stay home. Meanwhile, the cost of living goes up every day, right? But your wife stays home taking care of the kid. The kid should not go to school because school is bad. So she stays home while you're out at work all day. But let's get back to the AI topic, all right? Because you're nothing but a slave anyway. You're the same way. You're slaving to a system, and you think you're somebody, and you think you're a man because you're bringing bread home to the house, and you're telling your wife what to do, right? She takes orders from you because you bring home money. Its material is empty space. What does the robots do? The robots work for man, right? We use computers to process how we get money from customers, right? It gathers information from you, for you, so that you can actually go and detail the world a certain way. You depend on technology for everything. As a human, right? You depend on your subconscious mind and don't realize that it's programmed a certain way. We program computers a certain way. So if you're afraid of AI taking over, think about what AI is taking over for. See, I go to the stores now, and now I have to ring up my own stuff because there's barely any cashiers, right? I don't like doing that. I go to where the cashier's at, even though I have to wait for an extra 2 or 3 people online. And I'm going to tell you why. Because cashiers get paid to scan products, bag products, take your money, give you a receipt. Why am I doing that process if I'm not getting paid for it? I don't like scanning things. I don't like bagging things. I don't like taking out my own receipt. I need that services provided for me. I'm already going to the store giving my money, so I want those services provided for me, right? But you're doing a robotic job. So if you were doing a job that is of your own heart's passion and desire, you create your own company, your own economy, AI can't take over for you. And you know what's crazy? Money's not even a thing on your mind, but somehow it follows you, right? So the money follows because money is love. Money is passion. Money is neutral, but money is power. So when you're doing your own creations, your own works of passion, and money is not a thing on your mind, you're doing things where it doesn't even feel like work, you're in a position of power where you're irreplaceable. And guess what? The symbol of power called money follows you too. Women are a symbol of power too. I remember even in school back in the day, some guys were looked at up because they got the hot girl in school, right? They were looked at a certain way. How did he bag that chick, right? It's all having game, having a high IQ, having a funny way with words, right? And what's funny now is that women are programmed to think a man has power because of his money, and it's not the money. But this game has a funny way of showing competence through that money, right? So what they're actually valuing is your competence, and that looks more attractive, not the money. It's your level of competence, right? Now, you'll find that some women, even through that level of competence they were attracted to originally, still find themselves empty. Why is that? Because they're trying to find themselves through another man, through the material things that he has, or through even his competence. So they leave you in the house incompetent. So you'll never feel that level of fulfillment, right? But there's a lot of contradictions here in this red pill community. The people who push this traditional family thing, the women that are telling you should be home taking care of your kids and raising the kids and not having a job, are writing books, are doing things that's making them a certain level of money, right? Where they have to put time and energy into books, even debating, right? You got women like Candace Owens and all these kind of women who push a specific type of lifestyle. But if you look at their lifestyle, they're living a very masculine lifestyle. But they're telling you how to live. You got red pill people. They think they're men because they're making money, and they tell their women to shut up, go to the kitchen and cook. Right? And some women concede and do it because they are religious. And they say the Bible said so. Worship your man like you worship the Lord. You don't even know what that means. You don't know what that means. And then it says, respect your woman. Do you understand your own mind? The conscious masculine, subconscious feminine. What does the subconscious do? The subconscious has to take orders from the conscious mind. It doesn't have the ability to say no. Excuse me. It doesn't know the difference between a real or a fake experience. Women are the embodiment of this, emotions. Women are emotional creatures. But a woman has masculine energy. And a woman can become aware of these things and control her emotions and not become reactive. Just like men have emotions, they are the manifestation of that order. Right? But some men are in feminine energy. They think that because they are consciously suppressing their emotions, that they're men. And you're not men. Because, in other words, the way that you direct your woman, she'll never know herself fully. You'll never know yourself fully. You'll live a whole life not knowing yourself. And it's like Instagram. You can see these people with all these things flat, but behind closed doors, they're miserable people. I've lived it because if you look at my Instagram, I hung out with all famous influencers and whatnot. They portray this happy life on camera, but they're really miserable people behind closed doors. It's like these spiritual people online. They talk about the world should burn down and whatnot. Burn it all down. People are inherently good. You haven't found the good in yourself. What you did, you think you're woke because you became aware of the conspiracies and controversies in life. That's not woke. You just became aware of the corruption. But when you become aware of the fact that the corruption outside of you that you're pointing the finger at is within you, and that's why it's even there, then you're starting to get into the right area of what you consider woke. You're just aware of something outside of you. That's all it is. That doesn't make you woke. That doesn't make you spiritually awakened. Just the mere fact that you want to burn this shit down is the reason why you're not spiritually awakened. And then you got the spiritually awakened people that will look at everything through rose-colored glasses and, hey, namaste, namasta, and everything's so lovely, and I love you, and this and that. It's all fucking empty human ego shit. That's all it is. All empty shit. Still ego. Hiding the shadows and not seeing through the illusion. Both are lost, just like you see the right wing, left wing. The left wing, supposedly, they are bad. They are chaotic. They're criminals, right? But the right wing's doing the exact same thing. I'm not going to get into that political shit right now, but I'll do that in another video. But they do the same thing. You could tell through debate tactics, too. How the right wing, just for egotistical purposes, at all costs will win a debate. At all costs. It's almost like a lawyer knowing that the criminal is a criminal, but they're getting paid very good money to defend them in court and make sure they come out free because it's all in the interest of $1. So they'll use the legal system, speak legalese, find the way out for that criminal because they're getting paid, even though they know that their client is a criminal. You'll see right-wingers defending certain positions using debate tactics only to make sure they come out the winner on top of that debate. Doesn't matter. Even if they find out they're wrong about something, they will weasel their way and make themselves look like the winner. The whole thing is that this is a fact. You can have a person who has fundamental truth and a person with a lie. The person with the lie can win the debate just because their arguments and they just had the technique to be able to win an argument. That's all it is. And women are the ones that argue. Men have to use the intellect to make compelling arguments, right? To win the favor of the people. Because debates are all about winning the audience. It's not really the debate. It's more winning the audience. Who can be more convincing? That's going to be shown through confidence, strategies of certain words you may use, right? What does it all matter? People don't know themselves, so they'll be herded like sheep, right? Who looks stronger is who looks more dominant by the way they speak and their words and all that kind of shit, right? And people are dumb. I'm telling you, they're just sheep. You herd people your way, and that's the way it is, right? AI taking over. AI taking over as far as a person goes is their ego taking over. It's the real alien invasion. There's things in this world built a certain way. You're told how they're built and you believe it. You don't ask questions, right? Don't just follow orders. That's it. The more you question, the more they tell you to just be quiet. That's the way it is. Because I remember I asked a lot of questions in school, especially about how the pyramids were built. They didn't make sense to me. And it fundamentally came to the point where the teacher just said, this is how it is. In order for you to pass the test, this is the answers you have to give. Okay? That was it. That's what you go to school for. To be told exactly how history or how things operate. Things that you don't even use in your everyday life, but it just makes you believe a certain way reality is so that you live your life in the now, moving forward a certain way. Following orders and believing exactly, not questioning things. It starts by that. Starts with all the religious characters, everything in the Bible, all that. Don't question nothing. Just have faith. So, the insecure man will be afraid of AI taking over. But because you got your gangster tested through the pandemic. They told you if you don't get a jab, you lose your job. Some people conceded and got the jab. Are you a man? Men, if you want to categorize it as your definition, are self-sustaining. They don't take orders from anybody. Their body's their woman. You got told what to do. Only because if not, you don't get the empty paper that they're going to keep giving you per hour. So now look at this carefully. You got that already now in order. And the feminist movement, you fight against that. Why? You know why back in the day? Women were burnt at the stake. So men are stronger than women, right? Physically, but a woman metaphysically is stronger than a man because of the fact that they're the embodiment of negative energy. They're the embodiment of black darkness, magic. Men are from the patriarchal order and operate on patterns. You notice the PA is paternal, patriarchy, patterns, okay, algorithms. While the women is all on matter, which is material, magic, and the matrix. I mean, you could just see the words, the prefix there is where's feminine and masculine. In Spanish, you can see this a lot clearer. Okay? But in English, you could see that these words, P-A and M-A, determine where you're at as far as your masculine energy or feminine energy. So if you're in a matrix, right, you operate on patterns, right? As a human, you're a kind of man, right? But the awareness and the choices you make, right, determine whether you're replaceable or not. If you're truly here doing what you want to do, you're living life, not just existing. You're just existing if you're working, doing something you don't want to do, looking for the next paycheck, looking into the future for things to be better. You're just existing because it's never going to come. Because the fact that you're in your now moment in the hope energy is exactly where you're going to stay. That's why people who are in religion are always dying in the hope energy. Jesus is returning. They'll tell you that, but they never experience Jesus returning. Then you hear that. You tell your kids that. You die, and then you died in that hope energy that Jesus was returning. Are they returning in your life experience, or are they returning in somebody else's life experience and you're just passing it along? Huh? It didn't happen to your ancestors. You're saying it in hopes that it'll happen in their lifetime. Always in hope. I'm working on myself. I need to change something. What the fuck are you aware of? What do you need to change? What do you need to do? I'm healing. What are you for? Healing from what? Make your fucking mind now. Make your choice now. It's a fucking decision. That's all it is. Once you make a decision, you killed something and gave birth to something else. Now. That's operating in Christ consciousness. You're in the present moment, knowing that everything are waves of potentials, right? Until it collapses into something the moment you put awareness to it, right? That's why these movements need your participation, because you put your awareness and energy to that. What are you putting your energy and attention to now, right? What are you aware of and what are you changing now? That's called a quantum leap, right? And then you stay on that mode with laser focus, where it's going to feel like you're working against the grain. Why? Because you're working against certain programs, right? But that's just you're running on programs because they're trying to keep you safe at the end of the day. But we demonize these things, right? You look at them as bad, but in actuality, we're trying to stay safe, right? With awareness, you know where you're going because you already saw it now. It already exists. In order for that to come to you, not you go to it, right? You have to make sure you stay laser sharp focused on that. Because these obstacles come in a way where you'll be presented with certain distractions, certain things that don't belong in that realm. But once you stop where you were going, or having that come to you to entertain that because your ego hurts, you just redirected your attention back to the automatic programs that your subconscious mind is showing you. So feminism, if you look at it, women can never be equal to the man. It's not going to happen. But computers can never be equal to the man either. It's not going to happen. And I'm talking about even to the woman, to the human. If you want to categorize it as the totality of things. Ask yourself this: what do you want to do? What do you truly want to do? What do you love to do that doesn't feel like work? And make that decision. What stops you? Fear, right? Fear of what? What happens if you die? What happens if you die? You never got to where you were going, but you stopped what you were doing to continue what you were doing, and then you die. What is die? What happens? That's all I got for this video. We'll talk soon.